Welcome, Vegas Nation, inside of the Las Vegas Review-Journal studio. I'm your host, Cassie Soto. We are just over 80 days out from the 2020 NFL Draft, which means it's time to start getting those Raiders mock drafts ready. Here to help me with that is Las Vegas Review-Journal Raiders beat writer Myles Simmons. Myles, great to have you officially here in Las Vegas.
I know, it's great to be able to be in the studio with you, Cassie, instead of maybe Skyping in from somewhere, just anywhere in the world, probably in Oakland, California. It is nice that they are now the Las Vegas Raiders, and we are inside the studio in Las Vegas, and I am now also in Las Vegas too. It's awesome.
Raiders, Myles. I don't know which one's better than. I think Myles is better to have here. All right, well, let's hop into this, Myles. The Raiders do have 2 first-round picks at number 12, at number 19 as well. Let's just get into this. And historically, I guess, look at the past few years. What have teams done with those picks starting at 12?
Well, it's interesting because you talk about the premium picks, and I think that's what you want in the first round. And a lot of teams will tell you that when you have first round picks, you have to hit on them because those are the times where you can get perennial Pro Bowl players. And so if you look at what's gone on in the last few years, you've had some really good guys get picked at number 12 and number 19. I mean, I think the jury's still out on guys like Rashawn Gary and guys like Jeffrey Simmons, who were picked at number 12 and number 19 last year by Green Bay and by Tennessee, respectively. But then you go back another year and you get Leighton Vander Esch, who's a linebacker out of Dallas. He's been a Pro Bowler so far in his career. He was picked at number 19 in 2018. And then back in 2017, at number 12 overall, you had Deshaun Watson get picked. And I think if you're a Raiders fan and you can say, look, if the Raiders get somebody like a Leighton Vander Esch at number 19 who's a linebacker, and that's a position that the Raiders definitely need to upgrade, or you get a quarterback at number 12, hey, I mean, like, I know that there's a quarterback's jersey behind me, but I think we all know that at a certain point, the Raiders might want to upgrade that position.
Right.
So if the Raiders can get one of those 2 spots at number 12 or number 19, or maybe get both, then that's a good thing for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Right. How weird is it to say that now?
Oh, it feels good. Because I've been trying not to say it for the last 5 months, and now I actually get to say it all the time. Las Vegas Raiders. It sounds good. Rolls off the tongue.
There you go. Well, the Las Vegas Raiders again with the 12th and 19th overall picks 2020 draft. The last team to do this, Myles, correct me if I'm wrong, was the Browns to have 12 and 19. What did they do with those picks?
Well, they didn't do anything very good.
Okay.
So they picked 2 players. They picked Danny Shelton at number 12 overall. He was a defensive lineman out of Washington. I believe he's most recently been with the Patriots in a reserve role. And then they picked Cam Irving, who was a guy out of Florida State, played with Jameis Winston, and had a pretty good career there at Florida State, but they picked him at 19. Now, he is a backup offensive lineman for the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think you can say that the last time a team had 12 and 19, things didn't really work out. Mm-hmm. But I think you can say that about a lot of Cleveland Browns picks. And I think after what the Raiders did last year in having 3 first-round picks, and I think we saw how that worked out pretty well. I mean, talk about, Jonathan Abram, obviously the shoulder injury took him out, but then you have Josh Jacobs, somebody who could still be the offensive rookie of the year. And then you also have a guy like Clelin Ferrell, who maybe did not have the best season, but I mean, when you think about it, he still has all kinds of potential. So the Raiders have shown that they can do well with more than 1 first-round pick, and I think that's exactly what you want this year.
Yeah, well, I know it is a little early to start calling off names of who we think the Raiders might pick at these positions, or at these spots, but what position do you think they really need to fill at 12, at 19?
I think it honestly is 2 of those picks that we were just kind of talking about. Quarterback is one. If the Raiders are going to pick a quarterback, this seems to be the year, right? You've got a lot of good quarterbacks coming out, and obviously somebody like Joe Burrow probably not going to be there at 12. But the other thing about having 12 and 19 is those are 2 picks that you can package and then maybe go up and get somebody like a Justin Herbert if you want, right? Like, that's somebody that probably is not going to fall out of the top 10. But if you have 12 and 19, you might be able to get into the top 10 with something like that. But if you're going to stick at 12 and 19, I would have to say wide receiver, certainly one of those picks that you need, because a guy like Jerry Jeudy, right? He's coming out. He could be somebody that really fills a void of the type of deep threat, the type of really number 1 wide receiver that the Raiders need. CeeDee Lamb out of Oklahoma, another guy that could fill that role. But then linebacker, linebacker. I think we all know that the Raiders need to get better at linebacker. Their run defense got better over the course of the season, then maybe took a step back, but you really need just kind of that thumper, somebody who could effectively replace Vontaze Burfict as the number one linebacker guy, because I don't think it would be fair to expect that that Burfict would be back next season after the way everything worked out this year. The Raiders need to get younger at that spot, and they need to get better at that spot. So those are two positions that I think you could target.
All right, Myles, well, now that we have you here officially in Las Vegas, I'm sure we'll be having you in to do all these mock drafts. Thanks for stopping by.
Absolutely. Good to be here, Cassie.
Thank you again. Well, all right. Well, if you haven't already, be sure to download the new and improved Las Vegas Review Journal app, where you'll have free, unlimited access to stories and videos, including Raiders updates through February 14th. For Myles Simmons, I'm Cassie Soto. Thanks for watching.